Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you had a fantastic weekend. It is time once again for our English Flash News edition, and I'm Daniel Cook, your host, Monday through Saturday, bringing you a translated version of today's Albanian news. The economic experts are saying that the Albanian immigrants living in Greece will be the first affected by the Greek crisis. The unemployment rate in Albania's southern neighboring country of Greece is estimated to be over 29%, and the unemployment rate for the youth is upwards of 50%. The former Vice Minister of Labor, Kastriot Sulku, explains it in this way. The work for the Albanian immigrants in Greece is very limited, so their income too is limited. Those who have deposited their savings in the banks will have problems dealing with the banks, he said. The economic experts advised the government to draft a plan of action as soon as possible, because the immigrants who come back to Albania will not find financial opportunities. The fact that they will be coming back to their country should be taken seriously. They are not coming back to Albania for fun, they need jobs, said Mr. Sulku. He further explained that 5 years ago, the European Union asked the Albanian government to work on drafting a strategy for the integration of the Albanian citizens who are returning to their home country. The Minister of Justice has begun an inspection of the past court rulings for the 20-year-old man accused of murdering the two Czech tourists. Before committing this murder, the killer Sokol Mjacaj was sentenced to 5 years in prison for the murder of a 13-year-old boy in another robbery attempt. The investigation team is already checking into the decisions that were made to set the killer free, just 1 month before he committed his latest slaughter of the two Czech tourists. 5 years ago, Sokol Mjacaj confessed to the robbery and later the murder of a 13-year-old boy in cooperation with two others, two brothers of the Kodra family. The court initially sentenced Besnik Kodra to life in prison and gave his brother 11 years. Sokol Mjacaj was given 10 years in prison. However, when the case was sent to the Court of Appeals, they reduced the sentence of Besnik Kodra by 25 years and reduced Mjacaj's sentence down to only 5 years. After getting his early release, the latest developments in Mjacaj's history of crime is well known at this point. The U.S. Ambassador to Albania, Mr. Donald Liu, was present today at a meeting on the justice reform. Ambassador Liu expressed his concern about the conditions of the justice system in Albania. He said, "We have all seen cases of corruption in Albania, and we have all had to face this problem. There have been cases in which the decisions have been shocking. Only 3 judges have been arrested for corruption in the recent years, and not even a single prosecutor. This is a fact that should make us think about where we need to intervene in the justice system. Justice is needed by everyone, the people and the politicians. That's why widespread public participation in the justice reform is needed," said the ambassador. Measures against corruption and improved criminal justice were 2 out of 7 priority concerns that were discussed in the meeting, which was the second meeting on the justice reform in the city of Durrës. Prime Minister Rama held a meeting today with the newly elected mayors. He invited the 61 new mayors to a special meeting to discuss the future of the country and the cooperation between the central and local government. The right-wing mayors refused to participate in the Prime Minister's meeting, with the argument that there was no clear agenda for the meeting. Even though 8 of them had confirmed their attendance, they did not show up at the Prime Ministry, where the meeting was being held. The only one to officially refuse the invitation was the newly elected mayor of Shkodra, Voltana Ademi. Only 2 right-wing mayors from Permet and Dropul broke the boycott of their coalition. Prime Minister Rama addressed them specifically. "I want to especially congratulate the mayors of Permet and Dropul who are present. I did not have the opportunity to congratulate them before. I feel regret that the others did not come. This is an important meeting, and the absence of the mayors who confirmed their attendance and of those who would not confirm damages their work and their service to the community." Prime Minister Rama called the right-wing mayors to leave their political convictions behind and to cooperate and work in the service of the community. He offered to cooperate with anyone who was willing, saying that collaboration is the key to success. The Prime Minister told the mayors that there are going to be major reforms coming, starting with a reform of the water supply system, the municipal police, and the new taxation system. Mr. Rama said, Every municipality will be the administrator of its own water system. This is a vital and necessary reform. Transportation is another problem that needs to be resolved as soon as possible. A dignified urban transport system should be created for each new unit. We are studying the possibility of including new municipalities directly in the matters of public order. We think that this is the time for a deep reform that would dissolve the municipal police departments and give mayors the right to issue administrative orders directly to state police structures, as long as those orders have to do with keeping order or traffic control. Prime Minister Rama also gave an order to the new mayors to take care of waste management in their districts and to solve any issues of property dispute. The government's major audit of Albania's fuel companies has found many serious violations. The head of the Agency of Natural Resources says that there have been 10 times more violations found in this action than in any previous audit of the sector. He announced that starting from September, all gas companies must report their data online, a mandatory order that is intended to decrease the abuse of fuel prices. There are currently 10 fuel companies and around 700 mining companies operating in Albania. The Commission of Productive Activity gathered together today to discuss the lack of public beaches along the Albanian coastline. The Socialist MP Artan Gaci made the statement that the Albanian beaches are primarily privatized and are accessible only to a certain group of privileged people. The head of the Commission announced that they intend to create a special law to govern the public spaces on Albania's beaches. Over the weekend, Ora News provided coverage of this problem, including the lack of public beaches and the high prices of the private beaches. The coverage started with Velapoja, Durrës, and Saranda. Just 2 days after the Prime Minister publicly defended the bill on higher education, the directors of Tirana University have rejected some points of the bill. The dean of the university, Mr. Kule, spoke about the funding of the public universities, which according to him will be treated equally with the private universities. He said that the funds ought to be distributed by the Assembly from the state budget. During the hearing session at the Media and Education Commission, Dean Kule gave several proposals for the law on higher education, highlighting the return of part-time studies. The dean also said that he is against the transfer of students. The university expressed some concern about the autonomy of their university, saying that the agencies that are being established by the government will take control of the school. Lastly, Dean Kule feels that some competences should be removed from the board of directors and be given to the Senate. That concludes our news for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more translated news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.